I would want to know what type of leader they are, and because that's very important. And for me, the response I want to hear is the type of leader that is, like I said before, that's engaging, that's motivating, but also purpose-driven, but also understands the importance of student outcomes. That's it. And if everything is driven from that, based on data, then I think that will be the key. You have to be able to develop relationships not only with staff, with the board, with your executive team, with the students. You have to be able to have that relationship and make individuals want to be able to follow your lead. You're the superintendent. You're leading almost 140,000 kids and a number of staff towards a particular goal. So you have to be a motivator of some point. And I think that should be one of the things that our superintendent is able to do. As a parent of, I have two daughters that attend CMS, and I think their school was a C school, but it's a great school. It is a phenomenal school. The first thing I would say is don't just go by the grade that's given, right? So looking at those scores, if you see that there's growth there, now growth should not be the focus, but growth should be celebrated, right? That means that school is moving in the right direction, that they're doing something right to continue to grow students where they need to be. Now, then what I would do is I would identify who's growing, right? Which are we growing everyone in the school? Because a lot of times when we have these conversations, we only focus on the lower tier of the students, but we have some high achievers in these schools and they should be growing as also. So I think that if I was a parent, I would say, one, be engaged, be involved, however that may be. Two, I would say, look at the growth, look at the college and career readiness scores as well, because that's the focus. But is the school moving in the right direction to go towards that? And if they are, I would say that's a good school. That's a good school. I'm not going to base it just on, the letter grades that are given. There are a lot of factors that go into those, and I think that we should really pay attention to more than just that. I would push back because as a parent, you need to identify what's best for your child, right? What's the best fit? Charter schools within traditional public schools, one, are governed differently, right? So we have to understand that. So there are certain parameters traditional public school have to work under, and I'm a fan of traditional public school, or I wouldn't be running for the school board. So because I like to have some say in my tax dollars. So when you send a child to a charter school, they're governed by a private board. You have no say who's on that board. You have no say in certain things, like you're not guaranteed transportation. You're not guaranteed, lunch. Certain things aren't guaranteed. So I would just make sure that whatever you're looking for, make sure it's a good fit, and just not denounce all and put all the traditional public schools in one bucket, because we have school choice amongst the public schools, traditional public schools as well. There are so many different programs and magnets and the school choice opportunities within the district, and they're proven to do well. So I would say just be fair, and if you had one bad experience at, say, one local restaurant, don't throw all the restaurants in that same bag, right? Find out what's the best fit for you and what's the best fit for your child. And I would give traditional public school a chance. Look into data, which I do look at data. As you said earlier, overall, charter schools did not outperform traditional public schools. So just because it says charter doesn't mean it's going to be better. That may be a good fit for your child, but just because it says charter doesn't mean it's going to be better. So I would say find the best fit. And I think CMS has a multitude of programs that could fit, whatever your child's needs are. I think as a board member, our role would be to help create policy and a framework and a budget that improve educator experience. Everyone that's in the system, from the teachers, principals, TAs, counselors, you name it. We have to improve that. We have to make sure we improve a framework for them. What's that framework we're talking about? We're talking about increased professional development. If I had control over this, some of this is at the state level, but if I had any influence, or I would be able to bring back incentives to those teachers who want to go for their masters, who want to become a nationally board certified, and pay them for it, right? Even if we can increase salaries based on those achievements, I think it would be great. But if we can't, at least we can pour into those teachers who want to pursue it anyway, and find a way to pay for those things. Because if a teacher's more prepared, they'll feel more empowered and welcomed. And I know for me, I want to make sure I'm with an organization that wants to develop me and grow and see me grow. So I think my role as a board member would be able to create that framework that would want to see teachers grow and develop. That would be my role. I would say, one, individuals leave jobs, which is teaching, because of leadership. And leadership funnels down from the top down. So as a board, if the board is not leading in a proper manner, the superintendent might not be leading in a proper manner. From the superintendent down to the learning community superintendents, and so on, to the principals, and so on. So I think that if you talk to most educators, if they feel supported by their administration, they're going to stick it out. But if they feel as if administration is supporting them, you have different administrators coming in and out different years, and it's a rotating and revolving door of leaders throughout the district, and there's no consistency across the board, which we can see. There's been consistency not only at the superintendent level, so that starts falling down to other levels, where different principals are being moved around to different places, and APs over here. Teachers aren't supported. So you have to feel like as if you're supported, and you have someone that believes in what you're doing and is able to create that culture that we're talking about, to where you can grow and develop as a teacher. Could you imagine being a first-year teacher and you don't even know, if your principal's going to be there the next year, if your superintendent's not going to be there the next year? That's tough. So I think we have to be able to figure out how we can create a consistency across the board from the top down with consistent, effective, and efficient leadership. I want to first say, on the data from last year that you were talking about, can we say it's a good thing that they found the guns? I think the gun issue is bigger than just CMS, right? It's a community-wide issue. So let me first say, I want to say they did a great job with implementing those processes of the searches and the different plans they put in place to find the guns. Because imagine if we didn't, who knows what would happen, right? So I think that step was first. I think the district is moving in the right direction with putting continued emphasis on school safety, and knowing that accepting the fact that it's a real issue. It's here to stay. It's now a part of our culture, and this may be something we may not have had to dealt with 10, 15 years ago, but now we're here. So we can continue using the scanners. I think doing random searches in the school is also effective, and also I think promoting the See Something, Say Something app, and allowing our students to feel comfortable to utilize that. And if they see something, say something, because students know, and they hear things. And I want those students to be comfortable to use that without feeling like they will be, someone to find out who said anything, So I think those are the district's moving in the right direction, but maybe implementing a few things like the searches and and maybe increasing the knowledge about the See Something, Say Something app would be great. A lot of the things we're talking about is spawned from the community. And the first line of defense are parents, right? Hopefully our parents are empowered enough that they see or know that their child or their children are involved in certain activities, that they're comfortable enough to address those. And past that, we have community organizations, mentoring programs, your Boys and Girls Clubs, your rec centers. I mean, I think it would be great to start implementing some of these programs about gun safety in those particular areas where the kids are. Going from there, let's get our faith community involved, because individuals in our faith community also are sprinkled throughout the community. They can also give some feedback and just touch as many people as we can throughout the community to help spread this, as we know, this I would say, idea that about how do we keep ourselves safe, but also at the same time understanding, but what is gun safety and how do we keep these guns out of our community and out of the hands of our kids? It's going to take a collective effort. It's not just a school thing, it's a community thing. It's going to take all of us together to figure out what can we do. And then of course from there, once you start creating legislation and with policy and those different things, I think that all those things together could help if we start doing this together as a community.